Today, I figured we would deepen into the awareness of formless being. So, we're just gonna root ourselves in the stability of this nice, peaceful feeling, this presence, this lifeness, aliveness, and see what results as we learn to follow it and become present to the gifts that it would offer us. It's kind of a fun thing to do, just to value the present moment and to become aware of the present moment and what it offers us as a agent of deepening into a very nice feeling. So, yeah, as we deepen into this nice feeling, we may notice a certain buoyancy, a certain rising above the battleground, so to speak, where I'm no longer occupied with black and white, or us and them thinking, and we're simply residing in the presence and the peacefulness of a beautiful feeling, instead of seeking for anything in particular. We can just become aware of the gift of life itself. Maybe some fluctuations will arise, but these are okay. However you want to feel is fine. You want to feel not okay? Go for it. And if it doesn't feel that simple at the moment, just continue to listen to my voice and this video as I take you on a journey of deepening into, well, maybe it sounds overly simplistic, but take you on a journey of just deepening into this nice feeling. Yeah. And as we deepen into this nice feeling, this presence, we're just going to allow the feet to go wherever they would lead us to, and trusting in the innate wisdom to guide us inside. And feeling wobbly or unstable, having lots of thoughts, totally okay. Nothing wrong with this at all. Just gently lay those aside, or not, whichever feels best to you, and return to a feeling of present awareness. Ta-da! Already we have risen exponentially in levels of consciousness back into the present moment. Maybe sometimes you would say, oh, what is the present moment? What's the point of it? And I would just say that thought will not really lead you anywhere. It's just sort of a distraction from allowing yourself to be guided, allowing yourself to be present to whatever life is wanting to unfold to you, whatever life is wanting to show. You have to, well, not have to exactly, but there is a gift in becoming transparent to yourself, including but not limited to the idea of being a person in a world trying to understand what you are, what your place is, or what you're doing, and just letting that energy be. See, that's nice. It's nice when we just let that energy be. So this isn't about adopting any sort of particular terminology or ideas about oneself and trying to figure out life, but you might notice that naturally arises some attempts to figure out or understand one's own experience, and that's totally okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. And are you feeling what I am saying? I do not know how you were hearing what I'm saying. I only know how it sounds to me. And to me, it sounds simple, sensible, relaxing, just deeper and further into a sense of peace and contentment, true fulfillment, presence. And even though it's getting a little bit darker, that's totally fine. There's really nothing that has to be figured out about life. Even making this video and talking could possibly be misconstrued as not letting life be. And I will say that it is merely an extension of the expression of happiness that I feel inside of myself as I traverse the terrain of deepening into and understanding and exploring suffering. What is suffering? How is it different than a beautiful feeling? Well, when we consciously explore suffering, we may still have a beautiful feeling because we're not trying to avoid it. We're sort of welcoming it with open arms. Not trying to get away from it or, make anybody understand what we're talking about or anything like that. But now that things have settled a little bit, I'm just going to shift gears. Let's pause for a moment. Be in the present. So this isn't about discarding the value of any particular spiritual teacher, but it's also not about idolizing the value of any particular spiritual teacher. It's just about beingness and being present to that which breathes us, that which thinks us, without having really any goal in particular, just allowing life to happen, allowing life to unfold however it does. So back to the initial question, what is the difference between suffering and a beautiful feeling? Well, one thing I can tell you, just based on my own personal experience, is that when I was younger, my mind was very occupied with a lot of chaotic thoughts. And nowadays, that is very much less so. I experience a lot more peace. I experience a lot more of a beautiful feeling. And what's interesting about this is that in the past, I had a life of traveling and doing all these very interesting things, going to other places in the world and growing food and doing things that some people would define as really meaningful and exciting. When, in my experience, I was actually very caught up in the idea that there was something that I needed to figure out about life. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong with this. We all go through periods of time where we're seeking answers, whether it be to fixing a car or something else. But consider that we can always just go back to the principles of mind, consciousness, and thought, which I shared about in the other video. Originated by Sydney Banks, a Scottish welder with a 9th grade education, who you can look up on YouTube. He has a lot of really great videos, but most importantly, he points to the wisdom within. Just as Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within, there's a wisdom that resides within every being that allows us to access an innate brilliance. And anything that you see out in the world is coming from that place. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to instantly solve all the world's problems or anything like that. But you will experience more peace as a result of simply listening to him speak or me speak without thinking too much about what I'm actually saying. Because the point and purpose is to just get a nice feeling. There is no goal. The ultimate reality is already here and residing within every human being already. The innocence and the perfection and wholeness is not something that can ever be taken away. The only thing that can happen is sometimes people will confuse themselves with what they're not. And you see this out in the world stage to varying extremes. Sometimes you see it to the extreme where it's like, wow, that person is very confused. Other times it's more subtle. Maybe somebody has an addiction. For example, sometimes I find myself drinking quite a bit of coffee. But ever since I became aware of the principles, my experience of drinking coffee doesn't have the same effect as it used to. When I drank coffee before, I experienced myself as jittery, shaky. Now it's just part of the seamless experience. It doesn't really have any effect. So if coffee disappeared from my experience, that would be okay. But I don't need it to, is what I'm saying. There's a peace either way. The peace that surpasses all understanding. And I know that that's in reference to something from the Bible. But you'll find that in any spiritual text, there is a grain of truth. I myself am not really a religious person. I listen to rap music. I listen to different YouTube videos and different things like that. I'm more of a spiritual person because I just allow my wisdom to guide me to various pieces of content throughout my life. And what I came to see was that that's always been the case, like my whole life. I've always been doing it, whether I realized it or not. The difference was that when I realized what I was doing, there was a piece that blossomed inside of me, and it's just kind of been growing ever since. And it just results in this really nice, open feeling where there's plenty of energy to go around. So why not make a video, you know? Why not share about it? And this isn't really about like some sort of advancing thing, like, oh, so-and-so is an expert on this, but so-and-so is just a novice. Actually, such things in the principles doesn't really exist. In fact, Sid Banks said that you can just throw the tape away after you realize what it is that he's pointing to, which is a beautiful feeling inside of you. Now, some of us may continue to listen to his content, but the point that he's making is he doesn't want to be an idol or a guru or anything like that. And neither do I. Because the whole aim of sharing is to just expand this nice feeling and share it around. That's all. And the transformation that ensues by just openly sharing and expressing from this place of innate wisdom that resides within all of us. It's such a nice feeling. And in a culture and society where there tends to be a lot of focus on negativity, maybe even thinking that negativity is like the answer, you know? We need to be more negative. Well, you never really hear anybody say that, but it would be quite funny if somebody said that. We need to be more negative. Or they say, we're not solving the issues fast enough. We need to be more negative. See, something inside of us even knows that that doesn't sound quite right. Which really points to this deeper truth that I'm talking about. Which isn't really like a pin downable philosophy other than the principles of the wisdom innate to us that then allows us to express these ideas from a freshly emergent, new, open space. Not necessarily using new words, but the energy that's being come from is fresh and open and like fountains of living water. Pure consciousness, which always tends to put me in a better place. And even if it does temporarily agitate something inside of me, after that agitation has passed, the beautiful feeling becomes more apparent. So I'm not saying that your life is going to be perfect. You're just going to feel a lot better through the struggles and the challenges that you encounter. And the struggles and the challenges you encounter, you can kind of be like an Oscar award-winning actor, in that you know that all the emotions that arise are not even really real. Like, real in the sense of like serious. Just seeing that you're doing the absolute best you know how to do, and from that innate wisdom and understanding, from that love and understanding and compassion and peace towards yourself being poured into yourself through the understanding of the principles, you're just carrying yourself through life with a beautiful feeling. And I think I'm going to go ahead and conclude it there. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful evening or day, no matter where you are in the world. Let's just keep following this beautiful feeling together and see where it leads. Blessings.